Hey, welcome back. And before we get started, I wanted to take a minute and show you. Don't be afraid of this rat nest here, but some of this stuff is going to be going to the throttle body, and the rest of it will be routed over to the alternator. I wanted to show you a little system I use here. I've seen this about everywhere on how to tie your wiring harness down, make it a little more tidy. So what we do is make a loop like that, and then make one like this through the middle. We'll cinch this one down a little bit, and then we bring these in and bring the middle down. That makes a nice tidy little harness where these two lines are going to run together, so we don't get a lot of vibration just falling down all over the place. This is the positive wire for the alternator, and we have the other wires for the alternator that'll come down along the bottom over here. And so we're going to snip this, and that's done. So today we're going to install the intake manifold, and you really don't have to worry about installing these backwards, because if we try to put the gasket on this way, just like the exhaust manifold, there's only one way it'll go on. So we flip this around and go this route. No sealant necessary on these. Never had any issues. Box is bent a little bit whenever I got it, but that'll press down flat. It'll be fine. It's not kinked around the port or anything. There was a little bit of a kink right here, but it's not going to matter. And then we take our super big exhaust manifold here. These things on a quad 4 are big. And slide that over the studs. Got 2 studs in there. Alright, now from here, we're going to employ an old racer's trick on getting the bolts and the nuts started. And the idea is to just get them all started. This one here can start real easy. Right here. That's not a problem. Screw that down. One in the middle. And you gotta clean these threads before you put these in. You know, you gotta just take them on the wire wheel and clean them up. And I really can't reach that one too well now. And then we got some here. Just want to get these started. Then I use a extension, which I think I need a universal joint on this. So one of those. Universal joint on here. This will just help reach down in there a little bit better. There we go. Just turn that in. I don't know if you can see that, but it's going in. So what we're going to do is get the center one in there and just get it snugged up, just so that the manifold's pulled up against the head. Of course, we're not going to torque it down or tighten it down real good. We're just going to get it snugged up against the head so it'll hold the manifold in place. Lift up on it a little bit. And without that alternator there, I can reach my hand right underneath the manifold, which is nice. But also, if I want to tighten up a couple of the bolt here and the nut here with that alternator in there, it's just about impossible. So that out. Now we have a bolt and a nut here, and a bolt down there, and a nut over here. So let's get this nut over here first, which I can still reach with my fingers, no problem. Then we have the nut on the lower side over here, so we're going to use an old racer's trick, and I'm going to take a little piece of shop towel, and this works about every time. It's a little piece of shop towel like that. Put it like that, and then put a nut in there, and then that will not fall out. It just won't fall out. Super easy. All right, and then I'm going to fish that in. And again, I can get underneath there to get that started, since the alternator isn't there. I'd even say if you're doing something like this There, see, it's already started. And then we have a little tiny piece of rag in there that we can just reach in with the screwdriver and just kind of pull that out of there. There we go. So then we can do exactly the same thing with a bolt. A little piece of shop towel, put the top of the opening, put your bolt in there. You see it? That, and it fell out. Perfect. Trying to show off a little bit. So let's try that again. We'll just move the shop towel around a little bit. Let's try that again. There we go. There we go. Nice and firm. There we go. So we're going to snake this one in there. Well, I'm sure glad I can get my hand underneath there. It sure makes guiding that in there a lot easier. I would even venture to say that if you're going to do this as just a manifold swap or just to repair a leak in a manifold, you might be better off just taking the alternator off. It's only a couple bolts and a couple plugs, just to make it easier to be able to get your hand underneath there. And that's going in quite nicely. Just there. Okay, and then we got one more bolt. And we're going to do our shop towel trick again. We'll use a little bit bigger piece this time. And this head's held in there quite nicely. I think the problem is I just didn't have a piece that covered the whole head of the bolt. You can use a piece of paper too. I've seen that work well. So now that we've got it started, we don't need that on there anymore. Get this started. Tighten down. Okay, now I'm going to go through and just kind of snug them up from the center out. I'm going to move from the center out. Just get that one going a little bit. And then this one over here. So as that center one tightened down, all these other ones, they got a little bit loose. So we'll tighten that down. I'm going to come over here, get the upper bolt on this side, and get the upper bolt on that side. Get the upper bolt on this side, and then the lower nut on this side. And then the lower bolt on this side, and then the end nut on this side. And just give them a little torque with my hand that way. And then and the bolt on this side. Alright, now the manual says 17 foot-pounds, so if you multiply 17 times 12, that comes out to 204 inch-pounds. So we got our inch-pound wrench, torque wrench set. So reach inside. Just go until she clicks. Right there, that's one. And to the outside, the upper bolt. Start to twist off a little bit there. Yep. Two. Upper bolt on this side. Lower nut on this side. Get that on there. Okay. Lower bolt on this side. That's tight. And the outside nut. There we go. And then the outside bolt on this side. There we go. And we're going to run through them one more time. Because you remember how we tightened this up and some of them got loose, so we're going to go back through them and just hit them one more time. And that one there just got a tiny little bit of a turn out of it. About maybe a 16th of a turn of that. Nothing on that one. Nothing on that one. And there, that feels tight enough. I'm not going to go any further with that one. That feels a little shaky. There's a little bit on that one. Nothing on that one. I almost felt like I was pulling the threads on that, so I'm not going to mess with it. There we go. And that is installed. So from here, we'll route the rest of the wiring harness underneath here. Since we have plenty of room, I can get my hand in here on the other side and down through here real easy. And yeah, we'll get the wiring harness run over to the alternator. We'll plug the crank position sensor in, and we'll come up and we'll plug these plugs in, which just goes here. We'll plug these in, and then we're going to attach our throttle cable and run the vacuum lines like for the brake booster and whatnot. And the very last thing will be the fuel injection harness. That'll run last. And then we got a couple of sensors up here. We got the sensor here, and there's another one here for the primitive PVC system this thing has. So we're getting close here, guys. We're getting close to starting it. Hope you like what you've seen. See you in the next episode.